What's going on, guys? This is VinylicPuma, and today I figured we could do something a lot different from what I normally do and talk about some of the best weapons in Rise of the Tomb Raider or Tomb Raider 2015. Now, before we start, this doesn't mean that Borderlands videos or Fallout videos are going away, so be sure to stick around. It's just that I wanted to try something a little bit different from what I normally do. But with that out of the way, I'm pleased to present 8 of what I think are among some of the best guns and weapons in Rise of the Tomb Raider or Tomb Raider 2015, starting now. Number 8, the Full Auto Shotgun. Now, it's true that the Full Auto Shotgun doesn't deal quite as much damage per shot as most of the other shotguns, and even manages to have inferior recoil stability. However, the Full Auto Shotgun has the advantage of having a fairly large magazine size and high rate of fire, and when it comes to damage specifically, I would say it's only slightly behind the tactical shotgun and only a little bit behind the pump action, which means the only shotguns that are totally superior damage-wise are the break action, Void Hammer, and of course the 100% completion shotgun. When you think of it this way, the Full Auto Shotgun isn't really that bad because it's not that much weaker than the tactical shotgun, but has much better ammo capacity and fire rate, and it's really even not that much weaker than the pump action, despite the pump action's slightly higher damage. Now, if you're looking to acquire this thing, you usually acquire it much later on in the game via strongboxes. However, there is a community reward version in the form of a weapon known as the Harbinger, which is basically more red in appearance and is basically identical to the Full Auto Shotgun. And if I remember correctly, you get the Harbinger as soon as you acquire the shotgun in Geothermal Valley, which makes this a good option to upgrade, assuming that you don't like the break action shotgun. If you ask me though, the Full Auto Shotgun is nice, and while it's not the strongest shotgun on a per shot basis, it's still a pretty great choice. Number 7, the VENOM/Python Hand Cannon. As far as pistols go, I think the VENOM or Python hand cannon is the best one available. While it is admittedly a DLC item, and you'll need either the Season Pass, the 20th Anniversary Edition, or just the Apex Predator Pack in order to access it, it minimizes the amount of pistol ammo you will use while also dealing the highest amount of damage possible. And if you ask me, this is an important attribute for pistols, as pistol ammo tends to be a little less common than either rifle or shotgun ammo, and thus, I would say you really need to make each and every shot count, provided that you use it. Compared to the other pistols available in the vanilla game, along with its DLC, you should be dealing more damage per shot. However, you'll find that all of them pretty much have better stats in every other area. However, as an upside, if you did decide to pick the revolver and stick with it throughout the game, then you'll be happy to know that it shares a similar upgrade path to the VENOM or Python hand cannon, meaning that you should easily be able to switch to it, provided you didn't have the DLC before. Otherwise, I think this is the best pistol available, and if you don't have DLC and you want an alternative to the VENOM hand cannon, I would recommend the heavy pistol, as it deals a little less damage but has better recoil stability, reload speed, ammo capacity, and rate of fire. Number 6, the DREAMSTINGER. In my humble opinion, this is the second best bow in the game. Why? Well, I suppose it's true that it does have stats that are comparable to the other ancient bows, which on average tend to have lower damage and hold times. However, what I would argue makes this bow interesting or good is how it modifies poison arrows. Rather than cause enemies to gasp for air and then die, what the DREAMSTINGER does is allows you to fire poison arrows that cause enemies to frenzy and attack their close companions. And you may find this is useful if you're dealing with crowds of enemies, as you can simply fire a few poison arrows into the crowd and let them all just finish each other off. Now, while I do think there are better bows out there for more general purposes, I do like this thing's abilities, and if you want it, all you have to do is complete the Baba Yaga DLC, which is accessed after you've completed your first visit to the Gulag area in the Soviet installation. Simply beat the final boss of the DLC, and the DREAMSTINGER, along with the Wraith Skin outfit, are yours. Number 5. The bolt-action rifle. Despite its very low ammo capacity and low fire rate, the bolt-action rifle is capable of dealing quite a lot of damage. Depending on your difficulty and the strength of the enemies that you're going up against, the bolt-action rifle can easily strip armor and even one-shot quite a few enemies, which makes it a great choice. Now, while I will admit that it struggles up against some of the more heavily armored enemies that wield flamethrowers, when going up against most other enemies and even for just generic hunting purposes, the bolt-action rifle does a great job. There's also a unique variant in the form of the Golden Fang, which is a community reward weapon that doesn't require any DLC. The nice thing about this is that you can usually acquire the Golden Fang before you can acquire the regular bolt-action rifle from strongboxes. So if you have just gotten your rifle, there is a good chance that you might actually have access to the Golden Fang, and the Golden Fang and the bolt-action rifle's upgrades are basically interchangeable. Overall, if you're running low on rifle ammo and you want something that really packs a punch, then the bolt-action rifle or the Golden Fang are a great choice. Number 4. The break-action shotgun. Even though the ammo capacity of 2 is fairly lacking, I think it's fair to say that the break-action shotgun makes the most sense to pick and upgrade. Not only does the break-action shotgun deal the most damage out of all the shotguns, but provided you decide to 100% the game, the upgrades that you make to the break-action shotgun will carry over to the game's 100% reward, which is a major plus to picking this weapon. You may also find that the break-action shotgun makes for a great hunting weapon. Not only will it make short work of deer, rabbits, and boar, but you may also find it's useful for hunting bears as well, since it deals a lot of damage per shot. Now, there is a unique variant in the form of the Void Hammer, which is acquired provided you have completed the Cold Darkness DLC, and as far as I'm aware, it's mostly just cosmetically different, and basically has the same upgrades, and basically when fully upgraded, it has the exact same stats. So I suppose if you don't find all 4 pieces of the break-action shotgun from strongboxes, you could always beat the DLC and get the Void Hammer, and then upgrade that for the 100% endgame weapon. In my opinion, the break-action shotgun might just be the best shotgun in the game, and I highly recommend it. Number 3. The military rifle. So, the military rifle is acquired from the supply shack that's unlocked before you enter the Gulag area in the Soviet installation, and can be purchased for about 150 or so gold coins. A good way to think of the military rifle is that it's basically an upgraded version of the generic assault rifle, with the main differences being a slightly different upgrade path, as well as improved recoil, reload speed, and ammo capacity at the expense of some damage. Both weapons essentially have the same rate of fire, so ultimately it's a matter of whether you want better damage or better accuracy under sustained fire. And of the two, I obviously prefer the military rifle due to that superior accuracy. Now, there was a unique variant of the military rifle in the form of the Snowflake, and this thing had a cool looking winter camo pattern that basically just looked cool, and for the most part, it was just functionally similar to the military rifle. Unfortunately, though, it appears it got patched out of the game for some reason, though if I did have to take a guess, the developers probably didn't want players to have access to the game's best assault rifle for free, and wanted them to collect things to acquire the normal military rifle. Otherwise, there's not much else to this gun, and again, if you want it, be sure to stop by the supply shack that's near the Gulag in the Soviet installation area. Number 2. The compound bow. As far as bows are concerned, I think the compound bow tends to be the best bow by far. While you may get superior draw speed, holding time, or fire rate on pretty much all of the other bows, the compound bow tends to have the highest damage and will allow you to get the most out of the arrows that you fire. Plus, I also think it's worth mentioning that once you get to a certain point in the game, the rate of fire stat doesn't really matter on the bow, provided you have the ancient abilities and classically trained skills, as these will allow you to rapid shot with pretty much all of the bows, including the compound bow. With this in mind, I would argue if you want to get the most out of your bow, you're really going to want to go for the higher damage, and the compound bow just so happens to provide the highest damage. Now normally, you acquire the compound bow in various strongboxes throughout the Soviet installation. However, if you have the Season Pass, or if you bought the 20th anniversary version of the game, you can gain access to the Death's Breath compound bow, which has similar stats but looks a little different, and can be unlocked slightly earlier. Ultimately, I think this is the best bow in the game, and be sure to loot all of the strongboxes in the Soviet installation to ensure that you get it. And finally, for our final entry, number 1, the Thunderclap. While you do have to get 100% completion and basically beat the game in order to get this, the Thunderclap is the best break-action shotgun available and may even be the best gun in the game. It has stats that are virtually identical to both the regular break-action shotgun as well as the Void Hammer. However, it has the benefit of having a totally maxed out damage stat, which potentially allows it to hit harder than any of the other weapons in Rise of the Tomb Raider. I have to admit that it is kind of unfortunate that you can't use this thing until you 100% the game and also beat it. However, it is arguably the most powerful per-shot weapon and makes short work of everything from flamethrower guys to even regular infantry, and even makes for a pretty nice hunting weapon as well. Overall though, the Thunderclap is the game's best shotgun and potentially the game's best weapon, and if you want it, all you need to do is get 100% completion, which requires you to 100% every in-game area and acquire every single supply cache, coin cache, challenge, relic, document, and also complete every mission and side mission that's available. If you can do that, then the Thunderclap is yours. Alright guys, I think that's going to wrap up this particular video. Like I said, this is a totally different video for me, and let me know if you liked it in the comments section below. Otherwise, like this video if you liked it, click the bell so you can be notified when I upload more videos, and as always, thank you all so much for supporting this channel. Take care, and I'll see you all in the next one.